Hello everyone and welcome back to our weekly modern tournament. It's more than modern here. My name is Mick. I'm one of your hosts alongside the suit, Mr. James Church Morley.
Hi Mick, we've got an absolute doozy this round.
Oh yeah.
It's a doozy.
Oh yeah, brother.
It's the look at that. It's the Smallpox mirror match.
Yeah, brother. You're gonna enjoy.
Is that
Oh, yeah.
is that Hulk Hogan or is that
No.
Macho Man?
That's Macho Man.
This is Macho Man. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the very best. I'm the cream of the crop. Anyway. hurts my voice if you do it that way.
Yeah.
Man, I miss Randy Savage. Anyway, we're watching a match here between Sheikh Amiruddin on the left and Dennis on the right.
comment.
Both of them are playing the Pox. Who is the real Pox? Who is the real Cancer?
Wow,
And we're gonna find out.
it's quite meta. Everybody's seen everybody's hand already.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there's
Like
no secrets.
This is the.
There's no secrets.
I'm gonna play this double black. Yeah, here we go. I'm going
Yeah.
to
So there we
Raven's
go.
Crime
Raven's Crime.
and Funeral Charm you. Yeah, sure.
So Danny discarding a blood cast, and he's going to cast.
He's gonna get back his blood
Cast.
cast. He's gonna get back the Liliana.
Oh, he's going to cast the Liliana.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, +1. Make everybody discard. Oh, we're all discarding.
Yes. Oh,
Wow.
yes. This is. Man, this is just.
Oh, it's
This is how Pox works, by the way. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, let's bring up the Smallpox. Smallpox. Here we go. Okay. So, the deck works around this. Each player loses Smallpox, sorcery, 2 black. Or black and black. Each player loses 1 life, discards a card, sacrifices a creature, then sacrifices a land. So the whole idea is to destroy your opponent. Slowly but surely, getting a little bit of card advantage here and there, using Smallpox and using very efficient, highly efficient creatures. Sheikh is playing the mono black Pox.
Is he? So ask for Alex has asked in the stream. Is he playing 8 rack?
No, he's not.
He's not playing.
Yeah,
He's not playing.
This is.
Is
okay, so it there's a lot of there's the 8 rack version of Smallpox.
okay?
There is just the black white version of Smallpox. Which actually maybe Sheikh is playing 8 rack. But I'm pretty sure he was like going, yeah, I am the real Smallpox. Yeah, so maybe
Yeah.
collective brutality. Yep, I'm gonna drain you a little bit. Liliana, just being the
Liliana,
distraction that she is.
Yeah, and that Mutavolt looking good.
Oh yeah.
Looking good. It doesn't seem like Danny's going to put
Yeah.
many or any creatures into play at all, and
Yeah.
he's just going to get attacked for 2 every turn by a Mutavolt. And of course, and then we're going to see a Godless Shrine come into play. Bloodghast returns.
Yeah.
Bloodghast attacks Sheikh for 2, and now we're racing.
I think that was a mistake on Sheikh's side. I don't think he should be casting the. Oh no! Why didn't he make him sacrifice a creature? All right, okay. He might draw the land. Sure.
So, Sheikh, Liliana promptly attacked for 2 by Bloodghast.
Yeah. So now Liliana becoming becoming another distraction for Danny. Let's see if he takes the bait. I think he just go for the face, right? All right.
So
for 2.
Mutavolt attacks for 2.
And then passes the turn. Doesn't even activate Liliana here. And lets Liliana die, absorb some damage.
Wow, and a Gideon ally of Zendikar.
Okay.
And that's going to be difficult for Sheikh to deal with because...
So one of the advantages of playing white, of course, is just that.
Yeah, and I think having seen Danny's deck earlier, he's playing Anguished Unmakings as well.
Oh, okay.
Which he can, if he's desperate, can use to get rid of the...
all these like 8-rag effects. And
oh wow! And here we have the
so Sheikh is playing 8-rag.
So he is playing 8-rag. Yeah. So it's a Screeching Affliction. Is that what that card's called? It's the one from Shrieking Affliction, the one from Return to Ravnica, which is if a player has 1 or less cards in their hand, you deal 3 damage to them.
Let's see.
Let's
bring out a card.
One of he or she loses 3 life.
3.5 stars community rating. There's something wrong with the internet today. There we go. Yeah, this is the one from Ravnica. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 1 or fewer cards in hand, you lose 3 life. each opponent upkeep. So, Smallpox, you discard land. And yeah, and Danny here is just gonna, not have any cards left. But I have a feeling, he's still winning the race. Bloodgust here has haste.
Yeah.
And deals 9. So
and Shake scoops it up. It's an interesting.
I don't know why Shake didn't leave the Muta Vault Muta Vault up to block.
And it's very interesting is that both of these decks want to discard cards from their opponent, but they both have ways where to sort of get incremental advantages from having their cards discarded, because their deck wants to do that as well. So on Danny's side, he's got Lingering Souls, so he's happy to discard that.
Cards, so you got value when you discard cards.
He's got Bloodghast. Yeah. I've seen in terms of the lands, he's got Flagstones of Tracair, which when it goes from the play to the graveyard, you get a search library for planes.
Mm-hmm. That's the black. I mean, like that's black-white Pox. Like the only thing that Danny doesn't run, which I think should be an essential part of his deck, is what's his name, the Pack Rats.
Pack Rats.
Yeah, Pack Rats is such a strong card in the black-white. Just this black-white version of the deck.
Yeah.
Because at some point you don't need Smallpox too. Yeah. Ask for Alex is saying Scrawn is asking Gideon, very interesting, and Ask for Alex saying Gideon good. Gideon get there.
So it was so good in Standard for such a long time.
Yeah.
And sort of sneaking
into modern. Slowly but surely. You modern players the modern players just are slow. They're slow to take up stuff. No, honestly,
I don't know about that.
You have
if it's good, it gets to modern quickly.
No.
Fatal Push got to modern very, very quickly.
Okay, so Fatal Push was like obviously good. Gideon is innately powerful. That card generates you card advantage. So that card protects itself, gets you a beater. It gets you out of range of Abrupt Decay. Has very relevant abilities.
It's quite. Yeah, and it's the incremental advantage, and it's just
what do you do? I'm gonna get a token now.
And it's the same thing that happened in Standard, where you play a Gideon and then make a 2/2 Knight, and you've got a blocker.
Yeah.
For your Gideon, and then next turn you make another Knight, and if they can't attack the Gideon and the Knight, kill the Knight, then you've got.
Now you're gonna get extra cards.
Exactly, and all of a sudden it's just snowballing.
Yep.
And then you don't even really need to think about the other modes on Gideon. You just I'm gonna zero. I'm gonna make a Knight, 2/2 Knight Vigilance.
Eventually you're gonna attack him with Gideon.
Of course, but that was why it was so good in Standard for so long. Was it came down, made a blocker.
And that blocker usually traded with anything else.
Yeah,
right?
And then it did it again next turn. And your opponent's trading real cards for your Gideon token, and all the while Gideon's sitting there at 4 loyalty, looking very, very nice.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, like Gideon is actually pretty damn good. Like it's out of lightning bolt range. It's wow, it's a very strong card. So I don't understand why Modern hasn't picked it up as quickly as something like.
So Shake started game 2 with a Leyline of the Void in play.
Oh yeah.
So that's all cards are gonna go to exile.
Yep.
Is that correct?
So Leyline of the Void is when it hits the battle. What's that? A card that will put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. That's it.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, so he gets rid of, like, let's say the Bloodghast,
so Flagstone, Tracair, Lingering Souls.
Yeah. So Flagstone specifically stays. It needs to hit the graveyard, I think.
Yeah, I think it's when it goes from the graveyard to play. Yeah, from graveyard from battlefield. Yeah.
So the problem with what's that? Leyline of the Void is that it doesn't hit the graveyard, so it will never.
Yeah, it will never trigger. Never trigger, and we can already see Danny. Wow, coming in with a coming in with a shambling vent, and that shambling vent is going to win the race against the Mutavault.
Yeah,
because you're going to be gaining the life back, and then we see Liliana of the Veil.
Yeah, you're just going to discard.
Ticking up one. Danny's going to discard a plains.
And he's probably gonna hit the Liliana, I suppose.
Well, hang a second. We've got C4. Fulminator can't hit basic swamp.
Fulminator.
Mage has to be a non-basic land, I believe.
Oh wow,
Yes.
that was actually quite a long time ago. Yep. Yeah. Oh, we'll let them know.
Yeah, I think we're 4 turns
Yeah,
past that.
a
Unfortunately, we
bit too late. Yeah.
They're playing very quickly.
Well, we're seeing. I mean, like, the chat is also the what you're seeing on stream is also a little bit delayed from what we are watching here. So yeah, if we didn't really catch it, then sometimes it just
and Shake taking your advice there. Pack rats.
Pack rats are insane. Like this, you want pack rats in this style deck. Like I don't know why Danny isn't running like at least 2 copies. Like
maybe he is. Maybe
not.
In the sideboard, not in the sideboard. No,
he's not. He's like, yeah, not in my 75. No, it has to be in the 75.
Another limited all-star.
Yeah,
retired from the LSV limited rankings.
Yeah, man, this
too
card
good.
is insane. This card is just the nuts.
It was very good in Return to Ravnica.
Yeah,
I remember reading. If you're in Selesnya and then pack 2, you open a pack rat. Then congratulations, you're playing black.
You're not playing black, sir.
And we're going to see Shake.
And it works because black, Celestia was populate.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
And then Inquisition of Kozilek discarding the Liliana, Shambling Vent coming in for Danny.
Does he hit the face? No, he hits. Oh yeah,
he does hit the face. Yeah. So there's Shake's going to be able to get in for 5 points of damage a turn because he's got the Mutavault for 2 and then the Shrieking Affliction as well, which is doing 3 every turn.
Yeah, so it's basically just 3 damage a turn. Because that Shambling Vents is dealing, is getting Danny back 2 points of damage.
Yep.
So he might.
Wow,
so he's
starting to control the Liliana.
Ooh.
But that suggests that Danny has a plan for the long game because he still needs to be able to. Oh,
he doesn't take up the Liliana. Oh, right, okay.
So he does, yep.
Collective Brutality there.
A second Shambling Vent.
Yep. Okay, yeah, but then he needs lands now.
He just needs another 2 lands,
mm-hmm.
and he'll be very happy.
Yeah. So let's see.
So ticking Liliana up.
All right, beat first. And tick up. Does he tick up the Liliana? No, he doesn't.
Interesting.
You
just tick it up anyway, surely, just to give it protection.
All right, so to the face.
Interesting. Danny took a turn off to attack the Liliana.
Yeah.
Maybe he was getting close to the ultimate.
That was an ultimate.
Ultimate, yeah.
It was going to go off.
So we've got the rack in play now.
Mm-hmm.
Danny reading the rack.
Yeah. Well, where did the Leyline of the Void?
Yeah, the Leyline of the Void.
Okay.
Well, the Leyline of the Void is still there, but that's the key. They're shutting off the Lingering Souls.
Why did he cast the Lingering Souls though? That was.
So I think it was discarded.
No. But he had it in hand. That's the thing. So the previous turn, like he could have cast it, but instead, I think he had to. No, he went for the face. So that was. Yeah. That was interesting.
Yeah, because the Lingering Souls, even if you only get, the 2 tokens, they can block the Mutavault.
Yeah.
Forever. They're just there. Well, I'll just trade 2 Lingering Souls tokens for your Mutavault.
For 4 damage, right?
Yeah.
But you're not going to be able to flashback the Lingering Souls.
No, of course not. But you just use it as a 1-for-1 on them, or a deterrent to the Mutavault to stop the Mutavault from attacking.
That's right.
Because the Mutavault doesn't block the Shambling Vent well, because the Shambling Vents are 2/3.
Mm-hmm.
So the Mutavault's going to is useless.
So then at that point of time, like that's 1 point of damage a turn.
Yeah,
because you're gaining 2, you're potentially gaining 2 as well. But yeah, with the rack, as you know.
Yeah, the rack's going to put an end to you very quickly. The rack and Shrieking Affliction is just
6 points. Yeah, 6 points of damage.
Amazing.
5,
love
6
it.
Damage.
And there you go. So it's 1-1, moving to a very quick 2 games. They're both players playing at a very brisk pace.
Yeah. I'm going to actually inform the players that the Fulminator can't hit the basic swarm. I'll be right back. James, keep quiet. And nobody dies.
So it's I think in the chat we've had Scrawn and Blue Diamonds, MC Joe having a little bit of conversation about, is there a bias in favour of, are people slow to adapt? Is there a bias in Modern towards these historically powerful cards? Like, do people have sort of a, it's like price memory. Do people remember these cards being more powerful than they actually are? And I think that's something. Well, get your opinion on, Nick. Is it true? Do you think that people people Moderns, it moves slower? The people are slow adapters and they favour their Tarmogoyfs and they're slower to adapt to new decks, new cards?
No,
you don't think so?
I don't think so. Okay, so. It's about, I think at that point it's about money. It's about how much you want to invest in a brand new deck. Because if you're going to introduce a new card, like if it's nothing to change the deck, then it's cheap. Like Fatal Pushes. I just buy Fatal Push. I'm playing black, or I can splash a black. Like it's easy for me to integrate into the deck. Things like Gideon. Clearly your deck needs to want to have Gideon. It needs to... almost like build around. It's not easily integrated into the deck. Things like like Eldrazi Winter. Yeah. Prior to that, one of my friends, Edwin, he bought Eldrazi Temples and Eye of Ugins for dirt cheap, and then suddenly 3 months later, so he was playing the deck like a full season earlier than the pros were playing the deck. And then suddenly you have everyone playing that deck, and that's because you have to create a new deck. Like it's a whole new deck. You have to center it around Eldrazi, which we never did.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah, when you have to build a brand new deck, like it comes a bit slow. It comes a lot slower.
Yeah.
Than
so I have some thoughts on this, and we'll circle back to this
at
the end of Game 3. So we've seen quite a developed board. So Shake with the Shrieking Affliction, with the Leyline of the Void in play.
Yeah.
Danny 4 lands, but he's got the Gideon though.
Yeah.
Makes a 2/2 Knight. So now we're going to see, we're going racing, presumably, the Rack and Shrieking Affliction versus Gideon.
Yeah, so if he manages to land down that first Liliana, so he needs a land right now. If he hits that first Liliana, I think Danny might be in quite a bit of trouble here. Let's see, Smallpox maybe.
Yep. So there's
alright. So Smallpox. Discard cards, sack a land.
Discard. Yep.
And lose a life. He's going to discard Liliana and just going to pass the turn.
So Danny's going to take 3 damage from the Shrieking Affliction.
Okay, so let me... It deals damage? No, this one loses life. No.
Life, yeah, but the rack deals damage, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so something different. The rack deals damage where the rack deals X damage to target player, where X is 3 is 3 minus the number of cards in his or her hand.
And that damage can be redirected to Planeswalkers.
To a Planeswalker, yeah.
Okay, so Sheik using the rack damage to redirect things to Gideon.
Yeah.
And we're going to see a Smallpox from Danny here now, both players sacrificing a land. Sheik has no lands in play.
Yeah.
Does that matter?
No. That doesn't really matter. I think Danny's doing it wrong.
Danny's doing it wrong.
Yeah. This is not the way
Danny,
that you do it. Yeah, and
wow.
Gideon goes down. But Shake here just gonna take 2 points of damage a turn. He doesn't have any lands. Oh man. So Danny is sort of like out of the...
So Danny needs to keep a card in hand because he can't go under the...
Yeah. Alright, so he's gonna take 1 more damage from
the rack. Yeah.
Okay,
he's gonna attack for 2.
Shake here needs to build up again. Probably another Shrieking Affliction.
Oh,
a Pack Rat. Nice.
Play it.
If he plays a Pack Rat, then the Mutavault becomes... Next turn, if Danny attacks, the Mutavault becomes lethal. If he doesn't see this, then he might be in for a bad time.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Danny thinking very carefully now. That's a Fetid Heath. That's the filter land.
The filter land, yeah.
Yeah. And then Liliana.
Oh, you don't
doesn't want to discard. Don't want people to discard cards.
Alright, so sacrifice the creature.
Yeah, sacrifice. That's fine.
Alright, yep. Is that a Mutavault?
It's a second Mutavault.
Oh man, he needs a black source. Okay, so second
Shrieking Affliction.
Gonna deal that 1 damage to Liliana and get rid of it. Yeah, actually, you might want to leave the Liliana on the battlefield because like it's not gonna be doing anything.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, like I don't think you want to take it up, especially with the rack in play. Okay, so then you're gonna try to gain some life.
So that knight has vigilance, Danny. The Gideon 2/2 knight has vigilance, doesn't it?
Oh no, it
doesn't have vigilance.
Just 2/2,
just a 2/2. Okay.
Yep. Okay, so Shake here needs another black source. He gets another black source, like he's in the game. There we
swamp.
go.
Yeah, play Liliana. Go down, sacrifice, and Danny scoops it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. The Liliana.
Yeah, it's
too
too
much
far.
to
I mean,
overcome.
like, yeah, you know.
We saw Shake even at no lands, just with the a Shrieking Affliction, a rack, a Leyline of the Void. Very little.
Yeah, when you have that in play, like it becomes very, very easy for you to just overrun your opponent, because once you get them down to X number of cards, like they have to start playing stuff too. Otherwise, they're also in a lot of trouble, or they're gonna allow you to just build up your board. And, that's not where you want to be.
Agree. So just moving away from that and moving back to that point about modern.
Yeah.
We're talking about earlier. I think, my opinion on the subject is that I think people are slower to adapt.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if that's because of a bias, like a historic bias towards things like Tarmogoyf, Snapcaster.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's because I think cards fall into three sorts of camps when they come in from standard. One, they're useless.
Yeah.
In modern, so that's like 95% of cards.
Yeah,
they're useless in modern. They're not good enough. They're like a 6 mana Chandra, or or a Nissa for 1 blue green. That's not even that scries 2.
That could be good.
Well, I mean, so they fall into that camp. They're useless. 2, they're incredibly powerful, and people see their uses immediately. Yeah, that Fatal Push. Cards like that,
maybe not
but Spire of Industry. In the things like that. Immediately the utility of these cards jump out as something.
It's very apparent.
Yeah,
right?
It's Fatal Push was printed, and they're like, well, this is the best removal spell in years.
Yep.
And it's 1 mana.
Yeah.
It's even more. It's such a clever design because it's even more powerful in modern because of Revolt. Revolt's quite hard to achieve in standard. In modern, fetch lands everywhere. People are just sacrificing. Stuff's happening.
Yeah, I don't care.
It's very easy. So that's a small percentage of cards. The third tranche is the cards that are good enough but take some time to find, and that just takes the repetition and stuff. I think Collective Brutality was one of those cards. I don't think it was immediately that powerful, but we've seen a lot of the Jun builds adopt it as 1s and 2s, and then it's moved up to 3s and 4s.
Yeah.
So there's cards that fall into that, and I think what happens there is that it takes time. They need to find the right slot.
Yeah, they need to find the right shell. Like these are the cards that I was talking about. Like it doesn't require it doesn't just immediately slot in. Like it's not not an easy fit.
Agreed.
Like I need to make this card work because it's that good, and then you find another set of cards that works with it, and now it's fantastic. Now it is insane bonkers. And that's the nature of modern. It's gonna be a bit slower, and even slower in legacy and vintage.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what Ask for Alex is saying about whole new archetypes like Eldrazi, I completely agree with you. How often does a whole new deck come along? Yeah. And the only reason Eldrazi was such a good deck was because they had Eye of Ugin. And they had Eldrazi Temple, but the only Eldrazi they had in Rise of Eldrazi were ones that cost like 10 mana. Now, all of a sudden, when you're making Endless One, Matter Reshaper, Thought Not Seer, Reality Smashers, they cost 4 or 5 mana, and you can just curve out using Eye of Ugin and getting 2 colorless mana. I mean, that's so rare, though, because that's interactions for cards that were printed 7, 8 years apart.
Yeah, whole R&D teams would have just come and gone.
Yeah, and they do say they don't really think about modern, or historically they haven't thought about an impact of a card on modern.
Yeah.
Now I think they're probably changing that because they have the new play design team, so they're going to have people testing these formats, trying to push the limits they can go.
Yeah.
But I think people, there's what Mick said earlier. There is a a level of, I've got my deck. I'm just going to play my deck no matter what. I play it rain or shine.
I've
invested. That's the draw.
Generally, I think that's generally most players.
That's the draw of Modern, though, isn't it? They're like the point of Modern, and it's sort of like an unspoken promise. Is like you can build a deck and you can play it because we're not really, unless it's
with some reason. With some reason, it's good, right?
But we're not gonna Wizards aren't necessarily. It's not gonna rotate out of the format if it's not it's not like 50% of the meta. Wizards aren't going to ban any of the cards of it, so you can build your deck up over time, add in one or two new sideboard cards, new mainboard cards, and then just keep playing. And that's, I think, why maybe it is a bit slower for people to new cards coming in.
Yeah, that's I think generally, well, there's a lot of reasons why. I think the general case is that I don't want to. I'm comfortable. This is my comfort food.
Like
I don't need to,
like an armchair.
Yeah, exactly. I'm fitting in, why change? Why rock the boat?
So yeah.
But yeah. Blue Diamonds MTGO saying Collective was probably adopted in Legacy before Modern. Yeah, I think that was true. Well, that's the thing in Legacy. Legacy and Vintage, the general rule is if I can prevent you from playing Magic, I will. And then rule number 2 is if my opening hand, somebody taught me this, if my opening hand doesn't prevent me from, doesn't help me do rule number 1, which is preventing you from playing Magic, then I need a mulligan.
Is that
yeah,
that's the rule, is it?
That shops.
That's that. Okay,
that shops. Like turn one, I need to go like Chalice on 0, and then and
I'm shaking my head. I'm shaking my head in despair. For all of these cards.
What was it? The Thorn Amethyst on turn 1.
Sphere of Resistance.
Sphere of Resistance. Yeah, all good stuff.
Trinisphere. Yeah, who prints these cards? Who's making these cards?
All good stuff. All right. We're going to come back with round 3 later. Wow, I forgot to change the rounds. Okay, we're going to come back with round 3 in about 20 minutes. I'll put you on a replay. But before we go, just want to remind you that you can find the stream every Tuesdays and Wednesdays at twitch.tv/GreyOgreGames. If you miss the streams, it's okay. Just head on down to youtube.com/GreyOgreGames. If you want to find out more about the invitationals, just go on down to GreyOgreGames.com. And last but not least, do listen to our partners at power9podcast.com. Alright, we're going to go to take a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go away.